What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for June 22nd, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery, and I do apologize if the sound is messed up. I think we're good now. I've just spent the past half hour or so trying to fix it. Had a Zoom meeting last night, and every time I'm in Zoom and record and do that, somehow it messes up my computer settings. And you think, as something I pay for, that Zoom would not screw up, but every time it does it. However, I think we have it figured out because it's always something different each time. However, the even more of a reason of why you need to like, subscribe, tell your friends, spread the word about this as well as Back to the Future, because the bigger these podcasts get, the better number it is for the algorithm, the more partnerships and sponsors we can get. Then I can maybe hire a Baba Booey to help me out so I don't need to worry about Zoom messing up my computer settings. The reason we were in Zoom last night is there is a new episode of Back to the Future podcast and video is posted. Be sure to check that out because I'm pleased to announce that for July, we're doing Philly Sports Most Lovable Losers Tournament. And go listen to Back to the Future for the full details, but a quick summary is we've come so close so many times in Philly sports, and there was a question at one point on Barstool Philly that what is your favorite team that never won a championship? Obviously, we know the '08 Phillies, 17 Eagles. Those are the 1980 Phillies. Those are teams that really stick with us. The '82, '83 Sixers. We love those teams. However, in Philly, obviously, a lot of times it doesn't work out. So we still fall in love with those teams. So go check out Back to the Future for the details. But in July, on this day in Philly sports history, this podcast, we will have a matchup each day in July until we crown the most Philly sports most lovable loser. And that's where you guys are going to come in. You guys are going to vote. All the details on what to do is in Back to the Future, so go check that out. It's a quick 30-minute listen. I unveil the brackets. You can see where the seating is. Let me know who got snubbed, who got left out, who's overvalued, who's undervalued. Just like the NCAA tournament, but just with our most beloved Philly teams. So go check out that Back to the Future with a PH. And stay tuned to this podcast beginning in July for all the details on the matchups and how you can vote for your most lovable Philly sports loser. All right. I talked about sponsorships, and the sponsor we have right now, the partnership we have with PhillyGoat.com is great. If you do watch the Back to the Future, I did wear the Philly Fanatic shirt with the Major League Baseball logo. Great shirt. I mentioned yesterday you can get these shirts in any colors. That one I got was a navy blue, but you can actually get the lime green. It looks just like the Philly Fanatics color. They're just incredible. Any shirt they have, you can get in like 10 to 15 different colors. Go check them out, whether it's Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Philly Sports, you name it, they got it. We're talking about the lovable losers. Maybe you can buy your favorite shirt for favorite shirt for each of the teams. Be sure when you go visit to use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. All right, quick Phillies update. There is no update. They were rained out. The game will be made up later this year in September when the Braves come back. Just have a strange, sneaky feeling that game is going to come back to mean something in September. They play today at 1 o'clock, the good old business person special before Atlanta gets out of here, and then the Mets come in. Must-win game today. I feel like you can't really go – you don't want to go down 10. I know it's still early, but you don't want to be 10 games back. There's still plenty of time in the season, but this is one of those ones, especially if the pitching – I haven't seen – the pitching matchups weren't posted yet that I saw this morning when I got up, but it was supposed to be Nola versus the rookie for the Braves. So Nola needs to come out and play like an ace. He wants ace money. This is the time you come out and you play like an ace this afternoon. Shut down the Braves. Get the win. Welcome the Mets coming into town. All right, Sixers news. Montrezl Harrell did opt out of his contract. I don't think that's really any big surprise. It's not really going to free up that much cap space for the Sixers. But I mean, it was newsworthy. The Celtics making a lot of news. They have the potential to possibly, and I'm anxious to see now what they do with Jaylen Brown, but Kristaps Porzingis is now on the Celtics. When healthy, he's a stud. However, the story of his career is he's not been able to stay healthy. So, looking at the way the landscape is kind of shifting now in the East, maybe the Sixers, it would behoove them to try to bring back Harden because now the Celtics, again, it's going to depend on what Jaylen Brown does, but the Celtics could have gotten worse if Porzingis cannot stay healthy. If he stays healthy, they obviously they're better. But it's a huge question mark. The guy has not been able to stay healthy yet. So, I think that was sort of a go all-in move for the Celtics. So we'll see. Draft is tonight. As of now, the Sixers do not have a pick. Lots of rumblings coming out about teams inquiring about Tobias Harris. And all accounts are the Sixers would like to move him, but they're hesitant right now because they don't know what Harden's going to do. So if you lose Harden and Tobias, then that means maybe not the worst thing. Maybe it's kind of like one of those punt years where you maybe Joe gets a mysterious injury, misses a good chunk of the season. You get a high lottery pick, and then all of a sudden you're boom. It worked for the Spurs. So we'll see what they do. Like I said, I think if they get the right offer and it blows them out of the water, Tobias is gone tonight. But I don't necessarily think they're in a rush to get rid of him. I do think at some point they will trade him, though, just because he just doesn't fit with the team. But I'm anxious to see. I don't necessarily think it's must-see TV since the Sixers don't have a pick, but I definitely will be following on Twitter and keeping an eye out to see what they can do. Who knows? I mean, there's all Damian Lillard wants out, so maybe that's somebody, but who knows? I mean, it's maybe Portland would take Tobias on a 1 year, free up some cap space. Maybe they punt. Who knows? There's just so many different things, and this is where I wish the Sixers had a Howie Roseman, because if there was a Howie Roseman on board in the Sixers, something crazy would be going on tonight. But we'll just kind of monitor it on Twitter and see what happens. But today we're going to go back to 2010. On June 22nd, 2010, the Phillies beat Cleveland 2-1. Ryan Howard went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Jason Worth knocked in the other run for the Phils. Jamie Moyer gave up a 2-out home run to Russell Branyan in the second inning. Why am I talking about this? Well, it was his 505th career home run given up, tying him for the Major League record, ironically enough, with another former Phil, Robin Roberts. When it was all said and done, Moyer ended up with 522 home runs given up. Robin Roberts is number 2 with that 505. The way pitchers are today, I don't necessarily think there's ever going to be somebody who ties that record. One, because guys don't go that deep into games anymore. And two, Jamie Moyer pitched until he was like 45, 46 years old anyway. Ironically enough, we have Jamie Moyer, who played a big part in that 2008 World Series for the Phillies, number 1. Robin Roberts, who's a Hall of Famer, number retired by the Phillies at number 2. Here's how this week's all going to get tied together. Who's number 3 on that list? Well, some guy named Ferguson Jenkins, who we talked about quite a few times this week. So, not sure what it means, but it all kind of comes together for us. But June is rivalry month, and we are going to continue today. We're going to go back to college, and the Georgetown Hoyas and the Villanova Wildcats. Georgetown is our rival today. They are both original Big East members from the 1979 season, one of the the Catholic Seven, they called them. And Georgetown obviously is down currently. Like, they're not a very good team. Nova leads the whole entire series 45-41. This was, I thought, a very interesting stat, though. In those 86 games, only 0.3 points separates the all-time score. So these teams have been pretty evenly matched over the years. Obviously, there was a point in time where Georgetown was the national powerhouse, dominated Villanova. It's the roles are reversed now. Villanova is more of the national powerhouse, dominating Georgetown. Can't mention Georgetown Villanova without mentioning the 1985 national championship game, where Villanova pulled off quite possibly the greatest tournament upset in NCAA history, beating Georgetown in the national championship game after Georgetown had beaten them twice during the regular season. That year too, there was 3 of the 4 teams were Big East teams. So the Big East at one point was just the premier conference in the country. Georgetown Nova played in a lot of those great battles. Obviously, like I said, they've gone in opposite directions since that 85 national championship season, sort of Georgetown going down, Villanova going up. But if I had to score this rivalry, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5, only because of 1985 and just some of the history of these games. These two teams hate each other. One of the oldest Big East rivalries. I mean, they played beforehand, but this is kind of one of the, like I said, one of the premier old school Big East rivalries that's kind of gone by the wayside now because Georgetown has fallen off. Georgetown needs to step up in order to make this and score it a 5 out of 5. But today's rival, the Georgetown Hoyas, probably one of the most memorable games in Philly college sports history, was that 85 national champion when Raleigh led the boys to the victory. On this day back in 2010, Jamie Moyer gave up his 505th career home run, tying him for the lead, which he would ultimately overtake with Robin Roberts. Let's see what the Sixers have up their sleeves tonight. I would not be upset or mad if they came out of tonight still in the same position they were. I think they're in a good spot. I'm anxious to see what the Celtics do. I don't see how he's going to stay healthy. He's older now. And as a younger guy, he was always helped. So if Porzingis can stay healthy, Celtics are looking good. But I don't know. I can't see it. But, all right. Remember, check out Back to the Future for all the details on the Philly Sports Lovable Loser Tournament. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. It's going to be a rainy day, but go have yourselves a Thursday. I'm Jim Montgomery, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.